It's going to have to be season 1. The reason being is because it was new to us all. We had the time to spend. It was new to everyone. The teams that played, I invited. I knew the teams. I'd worked with pretty much every single one of them. I knew the players. I knew what they would bring. It wasn't based on competition. Some of the teams were. We had strong teams. But it was based more on what I wanted to set as a professional league. It was more about being professional isn't about just being the best. It's about your approach, your mindset, your presentation, the way you put yourself forward. Someone can look professional. Dress up in a suit, wear a nice tie, have your hair done nicely, be clean shaven, not like me right now, it is late, and you look professional. And that's what I wanted to set up. It wasn't necessarily about having the best teams, it was about having the teams that weren't going to be toxic, that weren't going to cheat. And I knew the people, and I felt like that in season 1 that's what we would have. We did something new, we did best of 2s. None of our other leagues had done best of 2. We did new stuff, we made it different. And everyone was into it, everyone enjoyed it. We didn't miss a single game except for the 2 Flex games where Flex unfortunately disbanded due to lack of players. Every other game got played on schedule when it was supposed to, no forfeits, and everyone was into it. And it was great. It was great. I really enjoyed season 1. That's not to say the subsequent seasons haven't been good. We've had new teams come in, but we've had forfeits. We've had increasing issues with claims of cheating just because of the way the game and the community is going. And it's become a bit more of a headache than season 1. Season 1 was just, it was really good. I enjoyed season 1. There's quite a few players out there, but there is one that will come into my mind always when this sort of question is going to come up. Love him or hate him, he's not the most popular player in the leagues or in the scene. He gets a lot of stick, but Glossy Club, say what you want about Glossy Club. Like I say, love him or hate him, the guy puts up with so much shit and he just keeps coming back, keep trying, keeps rebuilding his teams, keeps trying to push, doesn't just throw people out of his team to swap in excellent players to try and be the best team that there is out there. He will bring in players that he likes working with, that want to work as a team, want to drone, want to learn, want to get better, and he'll try to cultivate that in a team rather than just be, oh, this guy over here is doing really good, I'm going to go and get him, and then I'll get this guy over here and we'll become the top team in the leagues. That's not what he does. He just takes the shit day in, day in, day in, day out, day out, day out, tries to cultivate players, tries to be better, and just keeps on working. And will just keep coming back despite what gets thrown at him. And I've always admired that in Glossy Club. That's always been something that I've really admired in him. Just whatever happens, he'll just keep on coming. He'll keep on trying. And he might not get to the top, but he will keep on going and keep working at it regardless of what happens. And I admire that a hell of a lot. A hell of a lot. What got me into casting? Well, back in March 2020, I was duoing with someone, like pretty much every night of the week, we would be duo on ranked or unranked or whatever. Pretty much ranked all the time it was. And he was doing this competitive thing, and he was playing with Flex. It wasn't AS Flex, but he was playing with Flex, along with Toby at the time as well. And he was telling me about this competitive stuff. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean a league? Tell me, what's this about? So he was telling me about it and then said, oh, we've got this game, but we don't know if there's going to be a caster. And like, what do you mean a caster? Like, the guys that talk over it. And I'm, oh, yeah, of course, yeah. I'm familiar with Kicks and Intero. I've been watching Pro League. I know what it's about. I've watched it. I could do that. I'm thinking. And he says that they might have a caster. And I said, you know what? If you absolutely need one, then I will do it for you. I've never done it before, but if you absolutely need one, I'll host the game and I'll run it and I'll do that for you just so that you can play the game and you've got something broadcasted. And he said, you're doing it. There was no question of, right, we're going to see if we can get another caster. It was just, yeah, you're doing it. So I went on, I did it. It was scary. It was very scary. No idea what I was doing. I got the name of the league wrong. It was AGL at the time. I kept calling it something Global League. It was Astral Global League, if I remember rightly, but I kept calling it something else. I was getting the names of teams wrong and some players wrong because it was new to me and I was nervous. I've seen a lot of casters do their first game, second game, third game. Twitch chat give them absolute grief for being awful and dreadful. But the Twitch chat for me was actually being really, really positive and just saying how much they liked listening to what I was doing and that, considering it was my first time, I was doing really well, etc. And that was a nice boost. It's not often you get that in this community, where as a player who's not very good, I'm not a good player. I'm used to feeling the negative side of the community where they're always messaging me, telling me what a noob I am, how bad I am, that I can't aim, I should quit the game, etc. I'm 44 years old using a controller, playing against 16-year-olds that are using controllers with strike packs and Zims and whatever else. And even the ones that are playing legitimate controller, I'm 44 with a controller and old thumbs. I play inverted controls. I'm not a good player. So I'm used to the negative side, but to see the community there actually giving me some positive, that really spurred me on and made me think there is some good here I can get out of this game. If I can't get it as a player, maybe I can get it doing this. And I think it was about when I did my third cast where I decided, I've got a computer. Let me see if I can do this proper streaming stuff that people do with all the graphics. And, I started building up, going onto Twitter, doing the community polls and adding all of that in, and just built what you see today from one of my casts. And I'm still, apart from like Rage tournaments and one or two other specific people out there, I'm like the only one doing what I do. And I like that. I like the fact that I think whether you like what I do or don't like what I do, I'd like to think that I bring something unique to the Xbox UK scene when it comes to casting and presenting games, because I don't think anyone else puts the effort in that I do for any cast. I don't just do it for finals, I do it for everything. And, that's just helped drive me and give me new goals and new things. I'm very results driven. I like seeing numbers go up or go down depending on what the metric is. So building followers per stream, just seeing things grow was nice for me. Casting, it just happened. I actually really enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed watching new things, learning new things about the game, applying my knowledge to what I was watching. It was just great. So I really like doing that. Do I plan on continuing on console? I need to move to PC because it's the best way to grow. I feel like I've hit a ceiling on Xbox. And there's kind of like a saying where you can be a big fish in a small pond or a small fish in a big pond. Not to ego myself, like I say, I feel like I'm doing something unique in the community. So I would consider for what I'm doing, I'm probably a big fish in a small pond. And again, I don't mean that with ego. That's not my style. But when you look at what other people do for casting on Xbox in the UK, you have your German e-battles and whatnot where they team up with Ubisoft and they have proper casted games on the Rainbow Six Esports channel. So it's not like I'm the only one doing it, but in the UK, at least in the leagues that we know, I am very unique, for want of a better way to put it, a big fish in a smaller pond. It's a smaller community and my game is just a little bit different. When I move to PC, or as I'm moving to PC, I'm just another dude. There's nothing special about me, nothing at all. And I'm on the lower rung and I have to build myself back up, but there's much more room for growth in the PC community, whether it's for Siege or when Siege eventually disappears, which probably isn't long. I can still then move to the likes of CSGO, Valorant, and those other kinds of games if I want to continue casting. So I do have to make that move to PC. Will I leave console completely? If I want to do PC properly, then there won't be time for me to do console. I'm doing 5 days a week right now on TXB Pro Season 4, which stops me doing any PC because they're all during the week as well. So while I'm casting Xbox every night, doing stats, etc., I'm not doing PC, and that is holding me back. I like doing the stuff for the community, but at the same time, I need to grow and get something out of it. I'm doing this now for almost 2 years, a year and a half at this point. And that's a long time to then just get to a point where you're not moving forward. And like I say, I'm quite results driven. I want to move forward and feel like I'm elevating myself. And as much as I like doing what I do for the community, I feel like I've hit a point where I'm not elevating myself anymore. I feel like I've hit the maximum that I could realistically do on a stream. All that's left for me on a stream now is to change the graphics a little bit and the presentation. The features would probably be pretty much the same. I'm doing most of the same stuff you see on a Pro League cast. So there isn't really much for me to go to. So in terms of console, yes, I would have to leave that, but I'd like to think that I will still play Xbox with them. I want to learn to play PC, but I'm not going to be good at it because I just don't have the finger. I'm old again. I'm old. So I can't compete at the level of the people on PC, but I would like to learn it. But I'd like to think that I'd still be able to play with the people that I know on Xbox. I'd probably still play other games on Xbox because at the heart, I'm a couch gamer, so I will still play games on Xbox mostly. But I like to think that, maybe every now and then I'll host, a tournament that I could run on Xbox at a weekend, just put up a big cash prize, do a tournament, or just, do casts every now and then for leagues that are still ongoing, just to keep in with the community and just, keep myself in that presence, because I do still like it. I do still like it. Despite the troubles we have in the community, I still like being a part of it and seeing these new players coming up and learning about all of this sort of stuff. So yeah, PC, definitely. Console, undetermined. I'd love to get more admins. I would love for my admin muzzer to pull in more admins if he knows people that will. I do want to hand the league over. I've talked about this before. I can't do it forever. The time is coming when I do need to move on, and I don't want it to die. And it can only move on if new people come in and help me to run it. The problem is, it's not a paid job. People have got other stuff to do. Most of the people that work in leagues work in other leagues as well, and they'll always prioritize that league that they feel is their home league. So Muzzer, for example, his home league that he owns is XLL. So I would always expect Muzzer to prioritize XLL over TXB Pro. I don't begrudge that. I understand it because it's what he's built and it's what he's working on. Nothing I can do about that. It's just the way it is. I would be the same. The same as when I started my own league, I moved away from every other league because I wanted to build my thing. That's just what I wanted to do. I wanted to build my thing and create my own thing that I could share with others and leave behind. So I get that. So it's about finding people that aren't players, because you'd have to make sure you have that integrity and that you can always say it's a fair call, whatever happens. I was very close with Athena when we started in season 1, and it did lead to me getting accused of favoring Athena when something happened with another team. As it turned out, the call I made was the right one because the other team had been naughty. I wasn't just being biased. I knew that team was being naughty, which is why I made the decision that I made. It wasn't because I favored Athena, but it doesn't stop people from pointing that finger at you and saying, you're close to this team, you favor them, that's why you made that call. I make the choice that I think is the right choice. I say this to most people that I work with most of the time when these sorts of things come up. I don't take anyone's side, I take the side of what I believe is right. That's just what I do. I'm going to listen to the story. What I think is right, I'm going to go with that. Because at the end of the day, I can then walk away and say, well, at least I did what I thought was right. And for me, that's the main thing, is walking away with my integrity, saying that I feel like I've done the right thing. It might actually be the wrong thing, but if I feel like I made the right decision at the time for the right reasons, then I'm fairly comfortable. I'll kick myself later if I'm wrong, obviously, but I like to do that. So yeah, it's about bringing in people that are impartial, not in teams, and aren't going to make biased choices. Muzzer is very good for this, but it's finding others like him that can commit the time to the league to make it run the way that it needs to run, the way I would want it to run. So yeah, I'd love to do it. It's just finding those right people. Muzzer, if you know people, you're welcome to bring them in. You're welcome to bring them in.